Here on the waterfront, you generally will be working with containers. Container operations take place in container terminals. These operations cooperatively involve a terminal and a vessel at the same time. Container operations are automated and very fast-moving, setting productivity at a rapid pace. Although container terminals may differ somewhat port to port, they all have to perform the same functions. These functions include receiving and delivering container equipment through a main gate complex, placing and removing container equipment to and from storage areas, either in rows up to 7 high called stacks, or on wheeled equipment called chassis 1 container high, delivering and receiving container equipment to and from cargo vessels in and out of the terminal, loading and discharging the ship, and finally, maintenance and repair. Yeah, it is a lot, I know. The swift workflow of this operation requires everyone to maintain a keen sense of awareness and stay focused. It is essential to pay attention and stay alert to your personal safety and the team's too. There are quite a few different containers in a variety of configurations and sizes. Containers are metal boxes, usually 20 to 40 feet long, that can carry a variety of goods. Cargo can be packed into these large boxes and transported by container ship, semi-truck, and by rail. Containers allow a much more efficient method of moving cargo on and off ships. This lets the ships spend less time in port. Container operations are one of several operations in the longshore industry that might require you to work what we call, at the waterfront, topside. Working topside means performing work at heights where a fall hazard exists. Before you can work topside, you have to be properly trained on how to wear the appropriate PPE. You also must be trained to learn how to use a fall arrest system. We'll go over this safety equipment in more detail later, but for now, know that fall arrest systems should always be used when going topside. Another important behavior when working topside is to never ride the load to reach topside containers. Riding the load is when an individual working topside rides on top of a container while it is secured to a lifting device. When working with container operations, you also need to remember to only use approved lifting devices like caged gantry crane spreaders. When you work on the dock as a driver, checker, lander, or spotter, do not ever place yourself under a load. It's just as dangerous as placing yourself on top of a load, and you could become crushed. Although the very large equipment used to handle containers in a terminal is powerful, this equipment can still fail if driven incorrectly. Take a look at this poster we keep here to remind us the dangers of incorrectly operating equipment. These demolished pieces of equipment were the result of the drivers either driving too fast, applied the brakes too quickly, and this one here tried to move an overweight container. If you look right over here, you have some break bulk or general cargo. The term break bulk basically includes a great variety of goods that have to be loaded individually. Break bulk items can be bags, boxes, crates, drums, or barrels. Break bulk operations take place in break bulk terminals. Ships like this one here that carry this kind of cargo are called general cargo ships. Throughout most of the history of shipping, break bulk was the most common type of cargo. But then, the late 1960s brought a dramatic decrease in the volume of break bulk cargo globally as containerization has grown. Plus, break bulk cargo has been notorious for high incidence of theft and damage. See those boxes there? That cargo is damaged and now the goods are ruined. Break bulk is also pretty time-consuming, especially when compared to the fast-paced operations involving containers. To increase the productivity of loading and unloading break bulk, often the cargo is combined into multi-piece packages that can be handled in one lift. Right over there are bales of wood pulp and steel pipes. Here there are rolls of paper stacked in a warehouse. Break bulk operations require longshoremen to sling cargo on the dock to be loaded into a vessel's holds. Always remember to check and make certain the sling is applied properly. Slings applied incorrectly can cause the load to come loose from the sling and fall. Here we have a typical bulk discharge operation using ship's cranes, grabs, and shore hoppers. Bulk cargo, as opposed to break bulk cargo, is transported unpacked in large quantities. Bulk cargoes include goods such as coal, grain, and cement. Bulk cargo is shipped on bulk carriers or bulkers. These merchant ships are specially designed to carry large quantities of unpacked goods. The cargo is discharged into the hoppers and then poured into dump trucks for delivery to a storage facility. When you're doing these operations, always use the certified man lifts or the vessel's ladders and stairs. Never hitch a ride on gear like cargo grabs or equipment like front-end loaders to get in or out of a vessel's holds or decks. Another type of longshore operation uses roll-on, roll-off or ro-ro ships. These ships are vessels that are made to carry wheeled cargo like cars, trucks, and can even carry large vehicles like semi-trucks, trailers, and railroad cars. These vehicles are driven on and off the ship on their own wheels. Ro-ro operations take place in automobile and wheeled vehicle terminals. This terminal is a fast-paced business location with multiple operations and jobs happening at the same time. This is an automobile terminal. Here, cars are received, processed, and sent to various customers. So, if you take a look at the vehicles driving off the ro-ro, you can see the built-in ramps. These ramps allow the cargo to efficiently roll on and roll off the vessel when it's in port. You may have seen built-in ramps on smaller ferries that operate across rivers and similarly short distances, but the term ro-ro is used only for the larger ocean-bound vessels. Ro-ro ramps and doors can be stern only, bow and stern, or side for quick loading. The ro-ro next to this one has a stern ramp. This is a cutout of a ro-ro vessel. This ship demonstrates the many arrangements of decks and cargo that can be stowed on the vessel. Ro-ro vessels are not restricted to wheeled vehicles. This vessel has stacked containers and road graders. The constant interaction between longshoremen and equipment is the #1 safety hazard associated with working on a ro-ro vessel. On these vessels, multiple vehicles are being loaded quickly at the same time, and the space is very tight and limited. Also, these decks usually aren't lit very well. Make sure you are seen. Always wear your high visibility vest. So, it is extremely important that no matter what your job is, you concentrate on the task at hand and maintain a constant watch on your surroundings. The caught between accidents that can occur in these work areas are very serious and usually result in death or permanent disability. Lift-on, lift-off operations, also called lo-lo operations, involve containerized cargo that must be lifted on and off vessels using ship's gear or shore cranes. Lo-lo operations are also often used to transport small boats and yachts. General cargo vessels are characterized by their onboard cranes used to load and unload cargo. These ships have flexible cargo space and container capacity, allowing them to transport a range of cargo types. Lo-lo operations must be planned in advance, and cargo is loaded according to a specific plan. Cranes lift and place cargo to a specific location on the ship based on these plans. Heavy lift or project cargo operations deal with cargo that is too large, bulky, or heavy to be put in containers or packaged as break bulk. Typical heavy lift or project cargo includes generators, boilers, satellites, and military equipment. Special heavy lift vessels are used to load and unload this type of cargo, usually equipped with cranes capable of lifting such heavy goods. These operations also require extensive planning before the operation and special attention to detail. Always follow your supervisor's instructions. Heavy lift and project cargo operations are among the most challenging and complex services in the industry and are often carried out by specialized companies. If you are handling this type of cargo, it is very important to always use the correct lifting gear. Each individual component must be certified as having the necessary capacity to handle the weight placed upon it. It only takes one wrong-sized or defective piece of gear to cause failure of the entire lift. This front-end loader over here was destroyed because of one bad sling. Portering is another operation here. This is when our longshoremen work on cruise ships and help passengers with their luggage, x-ray it, and load it on board the vessel. We are also responsible for loading all the ship's stores, food, drinks, and other necessities for taking care of the thousands of passengers during their voyage. When you do this, make sure you use safe lifting practices. Back injuries are the #1 injury in this type of operation. Maintenance and repair work is performed by longshoremen in all of our operations. These operations typically involve the upkeep and repairing of gear and equipment at the waterfront. This work is vital to maintaining the workflow in our industry because no gear or equipment should ever be used if damaged. Any damaged or deteriorated gear should be reported immediately. Maintenance and repair workers will determine if the equipment can be repaired for safe operation or if it needs to be replaced. And the last stop of longshore operations is the warehouse. This is where many types of cargo, especially break bulk, are placed during handling to and from a vessel. When working or operating in a warehouse, proper stacking, housekeeping, and safe equipment operation is required. When stacking cargo, always ensure it is steady and sturdy. Never stack it in a manner so that it might fall.